This is Southern Cross News with Joe Palmer.
Good evening, everyone. Hope is building on the state's west coast that the Mount Lyell mine will reopen sooner rather than later. The state government today gifting $9.5 million to Copper Mines of Tasmania to help it restart operations at Queenstown.
Bringing new life to Australia's oldest mine. That's the aim behind the state government's multi-million-dollar investment.
$9.5 million is a significant commitment, but it will deliver extraordinary benefits for the local community.
The once booming Mount Lyell mine has been in care and maintenance since 2014, following the death of 3 workers and falling copper prices. But with demand for metal improving, CMT is confident about restarting. The new funds will support 4 key projects, all intend to rehabilitate the site and improve its environmental legacy.
The funding support will also provide funding to replace a pipeline which is more than 100 years old, providing water for the operation of the mine, and in addition funding for the crushing mill.
The company says up to 60 jobs will be created to undertake the works, and recruitment will start in the next few weeks.
We will give preference to West Coast contractors in terms of all the work available, provided they've, of course, that they're competitive and they meet our safety and quality standards.
I am very confident that CMT has got the best chance ever of being successful in a restart, and we've got to give this our best shot.
It's now not a matter of if, but a matter of when the mine restarts. An exact date is yet to be decided, but the company hopes it could be some time between 6 months and the end of next year.
I think it gives us some hope, a lot of hope. Our population in the West Coast Council area has decreased by over 50% in the last 15 odd years.
CMT says it will also invest around $100 million ahead of a restart. It's also looking at more innovative and environmentally friendly ways to mine to ensure it can stay open for years to come. Monika Dadson at Southern Cross News.
Opposition leader Rebecca White has presented Labor's vision for the state in her first formal address since taking the party's top job. And it was a mixed reaction from industry professionals to the party's vow to bring back the apprenticeship bonus payment scheme.
Labor leader Rebecca White delivers her first major address to a sold-out breakfast. Her speech, a pledge to fix what the party says is a disconnection between the job market and the education system, if the party is elected next year.
Tasmanians are being forced to move interstate because they cannot get secure employment here. Tasmania's enviable lifestyle counts for very little if we cannot offer stable, rewarding jobs.
The proposed solution, creating industry councils from key sectors to offer advice on training, spending and retaining skills within the state.
The TAFE system is broken and Labor needs to accept some of the responsibility for that. But we will also take responsibility for fixing it.
This construction industry welcomes the reintroduced strategy implemented a decade ago after the number of apprenticeships and traineeships plummeted over the past 5 years.
This is quite a different model. It's dealing directly with the purse strings that are held within Skills Tasmania.
Ms White's announced an apprenticeship bonus payment offering $3,000 per position to businesses that put on apprentices and trainees, the scheme covering upfront costs when appointing a new apprentice, as well as upon completion. But the state government says they already have their own plans.
We've, as a government, had a very strong agenda for education and training. In the upcoming budget, you'll see, and the Tasmanian community will see, real money going into real programs that support apprentices.
Master Builders applauds Labor's decision, but says double the amount is needed.
It will go nowhere near offsetting the additional costs that have been imposed on the industry, but it will offset it.
The construction industry employs more than 2,000 full-time workers, but only 1,300 are in training. Talia Higgins, Southern Cross News.
Tasmanians could soon be paying less for power. However, it might not last long. The Australian Energy Regulator's decision on Tas network charges for the next 2 years means households could save an estimated $110 a year. But with the national market remaining volatile, things could change from July 1.
We'll obviously work with all Tasmanian government and energy businesses to keep prices down.
Tensions have reached boiling point over the future of the currently unoperational North East train line. Community groups are rallying together to see it converted into a tourist line, but the Dorset Council says the plan is ridiculous.
Opinion on how best to use this track couldn't be more opposing. On one hand, the Dorset Council say the only way forward is for the corridor to be ripped up and the rail trail bike track built, which received $1.4 million in federal funding in 2015.
We want to build a bike trail, there's no doubt about that, and we have the federal government grant for that.
But dozens of invested community members say to destroy it would be a total waste.
The rail is in good condition and full stop.
They want to see a heritage train set up running from Launceston to Scottsdale, bringing with it increased tourism to northeast Tasmania. And a train has already been secured.
And we could be ready for real tourism within 1 month, although I would like to put a 3-month handle on it to start some advertising and promotion really going.
And there's no doubt converting the track back to its former glory would be costly, but the group says it's doable.
We have enough enthusiasm, enough parts, enough volunteers, enough funding to go ahead and make it work within a very, very short time.
Council says boom gates and lights will need to be installed, as well as train stations and toilets along the track. The track was built in the 1880s and spans for more than 60 kilometres. The committee says it does support a joint use of the corridor, which would see this original track stay and a bike path added. But Council says no deal.
Cost-wise, it's unachievable. They haven't done their numbers, they haven't done their research. To suggest that they can get 150 people a day to Scottsdale is just ridiculous.
But who has the final say?
This is another example, I think, of where we've got a lot of interest to invest in Tasmania, and as a government we're always keen to talk to people about how we can do that, balance competing interests, ideas, and it's an exciting time to be in Tasmania's tourism industry.
Jessica Moran, Southern Cross News.
A bushwalker feared missing for 12 hours is at home recovering tonight. He was hiking with his partner at Meander Valley Falls and failed to return to their agreed meeting spot. Police and SES activated a ground search at 3:30 p.m. yesterday, locating him early this morning. Conditions overnight were cold, however the man was in good health and was able to walk out with rescuers. A crowdfunding campaign for Hobart woman Nicole Evans, who was allegedly set alight by her partner in Chigwell on Monday night, has raised more than $17,000 in 48 hours. The GoFundMe page was started by the 20-year-old's friends after Ms Evans was transported to Melbourne's Alfred Hospital with burns to 50% of her body. The page has had more than 2,000 shares. Her friends say if Nicole pulls through this heartbreaking tragedy, the money will help with treatment costs, which doctors say will be ongoing. The Help Nikki page can be found online. The Launceston Tornadoes have announced the club is parting ways with head coach Ben Rush. The announcement was confirmed this morning by Chair Janie Finlay, who says the decision was mutual.
Off the back of 3 home court wins, the Torns board and head coach have announced their agreement is over.
There's been a growing concern about the bringing together of the playing group and the coach, and we are concerned about the impact that might have on on-court performance.
Both parties saying the decision was reached mutually after a number of weeks of discussion.
How do you feel about this decision?
Look, everyone's focused on where to from here, and the decision's been made, and we've agreed to end the the contract and me no longer coach the club, and so from here the club and we'll move forward, and I'll move forward in my own directions, and that's where the focus is at.
We really sincerely want to thank Ben for the work that he's done in pre-season in recruiting and in the preparation for the team to get us to this point with 3 wins and for the season ahead for 2017.
The father of 2 coached the Hobart Chargers men's side for 1 season in 2015 and was appointed as head coach of the Tawns in January. He says he's now focusing on his family with no immediate plans.
Look at other things in basketball and life, and we'll see how things play out.
The playing team are now preparing for 2 games this weekend against Sydney and Frankston. Jessica Moran, Southern Cross News.
Tasmanian Whiskey excellence is being recognised with Lark Distillery's 25th year anniversary celebrated today. A new whiskey called the Revolution release will go on sale to mark the occasion.
Tasmania definitely punches above its weight in terms of the world market. A few years ago, Sullivan's Cove won the best whiskey in the world, and that really put Tasmania on the map.
The 25th anniversary bottles will be available from next Monday. 153 cats and kittens are tonight in new homes, adopted out as part of the RSPCA's We Are at Capacity promotion. Around 60 felines are still available in the RSPCA's animal care centres across the state. Cats over 6 months are discounted to $40 and kittens under 6 months are $80. The campaign is a bid to combat kitten season and ends on Sunday. Now let's take a look at the day's business and finance news with thanks to Tasplan, your local super fund. The Australian share market has eked out a tiny gain to close slightly higher for a 6th straight session, despite a mixed performance in the heavyweight banking and mining sectors. The ASX 200 index is up 2.6 points. Short time ago, the Australian dollar was trading at 74.75 US cents and 68.69 euro cents.
New Tigers coach Adam Griffith is ready to hit the ground running and lead a new era of Tasmanian cricket. He's set to go over the playing and staff lists with a fine-toothed comb, armed with a wealth of knowledge from Western Australia.
After 6 years in Western Australia, Adam Griffith returns to Blunston Arena, not as a strike bowler, but as head coach.
Bellerive is where it all began for me, and looking forward to this next part of the journey.
It's hoped Griffith's homecoming will be a happy one. He's charged with pulling Tasmania out of a cricketing slump that's seen the Tigers record back-to-back Shield spoons.
First order of business is obviously to look at the list, both playing and staff. And to look at the pathway structure that we have set up here in Tasmania.
CEO Nick Cummins says Griffith's connection with the state played no part in his appointment.
It's a great PR story that we've hired a Tasmanian, but we wanted the best coach.
His apprenticeship under Justin Langer did, though, emulating the success of the Western Warriors a goal.
The drive and the hunger for that sort of elite performance in everything that they do is something that we really want to instill in this organisation, both on and off the field.
Griffith more than happy to oblige, keen to transfer a wealth of knowledge from WA.
There's a few secrets there, that we'll be bringing back, but something that we like to keep under wraps a little bit and don't put out there.
With Andrew Dykes, GM of cricket position, made redundant, Cummins and Griffith will look after the hiring and firing of players for the time being, keeping George Bailey in the state a priority.
So for me personally, George is the leader of this program, and I'll be working very closely with him moving forward.
It's likely Griffith will take on a role with the Hobart Hurricanes under new coach Gary Kirsten. Griffith has been released by Western Australia and will officially commence in the coming weeks.
Jason White has fought off a charge by fellow Tasmanian Michael Pritchard on the penultimate day of Targa Tasmania. White remains a minute to the good as he looks to secure a 6th Targa crown.
Jason White will go into tomorrow's final day as race favourite, but he hasn't been without his challenges. Michael Pritchard making his move today. The 52-kilometre Mount Arrowsmith staged the scene. He wiped 53 seconds off White's lead, a stage victory his reward. It bumps Matt close to 3rd position. White takes an overall lead of a minute into the last day of racing. Angus Kennard looks certain to win the GT4 division in his Nissan GTR, holding a more than 6-minute advantage. Peter Ulrich should take home the Classic class. John Siddons also holds a commanding lead in Classic GT, while Jeff Horton silenced any doubters today in his Lotus Exige. He now holds an unassailable 8-minute lead in the GT Sports Trophy class. Tomorrow sees a 6-stage day, with the grand finale to take place at Prince's Wharf 1 in Hobart as competitors cross the finish line.
Nelson FC will be hoping to continue a fairy tale run in the statewide Lacaselle Jack Cup tomorrow when it meets Olympia Warriors at KG5. Nelson beat NPL club Northern Rangers to progress to the quarter-final, and coach Adam Mills is daring to dream.
It was unthinkable a month or so ago, and now it's 90 minutes away in reality, but it would be huge.
Glenorchy Knights have their work cut out against reigning champs Devonport. James Sherman says it's the perfect chance to show why his club should be in the NPL.
Well, the club's made no secret of wanting to get back into the top division, so tomorrow is a good test. There'll be plenty of people looking at the game and rating us, so we have to perform.
The two games form part of a triple header of statewide cup matches at KG5 on Saturday. A local junior golfer is headed to the United States to try her hand against the world's best. Hallie Meeburn isn't yet a household name, but her grandmother and caddy certainly is.
14 years old and off a handicap of 4, Hallie Meeburn is destined for big things in golf. This June, she'll head to the US to play in the IMG Junior Worlds in San Diego and the All-Star Junior Worlds in Las Vegas.
It'll be good to go to America, and I'm a little bit nervous, but it'll be a good experience.
Meeburn has a secret weapon. Her grandmother is Tasmanian golfing legend and Australian PGA winner Lindy Goggin. Lindy will act as Hallie's caddy for the two tournaments, a task she has a new appreciation for.
I find it a bit hard, actually. I'm probably not the greatest caddy there is, but I do know the game, and I can do it, but, having said that, I do get a bit frustrated sometimes.
Hallie's work off the tee is no problem. She hits a long ball. She admits, though, there's work to be done in other areas of her game.
I've been doing a lot of my putting and my short game. Yeah.
But with golfing blood flowing through her veins, Lindy believes her granddaughter could potentially go all the way.
If she wants it, she could go a long way, I think. She's got a lot of talent, but obviously going to America is going to be a huge experience for her, going to be a huge step. We don't know what's out there, but this is a good way to find out.
Good evening. Hobart 19 today. Launceston, Burnie and Devonport all on 18 degrees. 21 was the high at Fingal. Temperatures within 2 degrees of average. Bushy Park, St Helens and Friendly Beaches 20. Campania and Cressy 19. Flinders Island, Grove and Wynyard 18. King Island and Low Head 17 degrees. Mid to low level cloud is over our region and areas to our north and east. Some cloud sits over the south of Western Australia. Tropical cyclone Francis is northwest of that state. Cloud in mountain waves blew over the west and far south today as high cloud streamed over the rest of Tasmania. The high centred over South Australia dominates the scene tomorrow. A cold front is off to our east with another south of WA. Severe tropical cyclone Francis keeps building over the northwest. West to southwesterly winds as strong as 20 to 30 knots over the north and south, lighter over the west and inland, swells building to 4 metres. Strong wind warning, that's current for waters between Sandy Cape and St Helens Point and also from Tasman Island to St Helens Point. Saturday in Hobart, an early shower clearing, 17 the high, 14 for Maydena with a morning shower, cloudy and 14 for Oatlands. The big game at University of Tasmania Stadium, the Hawks and the Satyrs, partly cloudy, perfect football weather, 19 degrees. 18 for Devonport, Lyowini, a possible morning shower and 10 degrees. Burnie partly cloudy, 18, top of 16 for Strawn and Marrawar with a shower or two, while for St Helens, partly cloudy and 17. Swansea the same, Orford cloudy 2 and 16 degrees. On Sunday, mostly fine and sunny until a shower develops over the west. Showers over the north and west on Monday, extending statewide, with snow on the peaks on Tuesday, showers mainly over the west, central and south. Sunny in Perth tomorrow, drizzle easing from Adelaide, a few showers for Melbourne, but fine and sunny for the other centres further north.
That's all from the team for now. See you a bit later. Bye-bye.